welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and today I am designing my April block. So I'm going to share my January, February, March. That's complete. It's a slow stitch block, and then I'm going to create my April block that I'm going to sew in April. I already started and I want to add some stuff that I already did and put it on this block, and I also have some ideas that I want to include in this block. So here we go. I am making these blocks 9 by 9, and this one is my January block. I put some beads on here. I used my favorite color. I also put some leather on here. This is actually a leather traveler's notebook. I stitched it on. It does open up. I don't have anything inside it right now. My daughter wants me to put something in it, but I haven't done anything yet. But I did add lots of stitching on this. I did add some beads, if you can see some beads here. This here dream is ribbon. And I just been using the stitches that I've learned along the way from the 52 handmade tags. So I've been learning a lot by doing that. So this was my January completed block. Moving on to February, and my February block looks like this. This I started to add my rubber stamping to it. This was stamped on cloth and then cut out and then sewn on there. Again, I used lots of beads. This is beads I found. I added some lace and some buttons. I did lots of beads over here. Let me just go a little closer so you can see. So I went with the pink theme for Valentine's Day, and yes, this was already on the fabric that I had. I just cut it out. It says be happy on it. And yeah, so this was my February block. So February is my birthday month. I didn't go with purple again because I did purple in January, but this is what February came out to be. Okay, so March, I went with green. So here is my March block. I have it upside down. Anyway, it could go any way you want it. Actually, no, it goes this way. I added some buttons, bead buttons. I thought the yellow would be cool to add. I did a lot of French knots on there. Yeah, just every time I learned a different stitch, I would add it to this block. And I really like how they're coming out, and everything is done by hand. So this was my March block. Now, what am I doing with these blocks? Now, I thought that I was going to do a wall hanging, and then no, because they're really different. And each one is totally different. And as I add and learn new steps, I figured I would make a book out of it. So I am in the middle of making a cover for this. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take my January and my February, sew it together like that, put a binding around the edges and stick it inside a fabric book. And then I'm going to put my April on the back of this and sew it together. Now you won't see my stitches because this will be sewn to this and this will be sewn to April. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm in the middle of making a cover. My cover is not complete. I will share my cover right now. Let me just grab it here. It's sitting here. Now I've sewn it and shown it in other videos. Okay, so my front cover is going to be this. It's not stitched yet. I just have it laid out to stitch. This is going to be my front cover of the book. I wanted to add some I added some cats only because I had it and it was on the fabric. I'm not really a cat person. I used to be, but now I'm a dog person. So the cats are just on there because it matched the fabric. So this will be the front cover. This is the back cover. It has more books on it. I'm going to stitch all this down. Right now it's only pinned to sew. And then on the inside of this, I'm going to sew these two together, and this is my inside. I have these people that I'm working on. I got very far on this. I did the whole bottom. I blanket stitched the two pieces together. I've been working on the stitching around these figures and adding hair to the girls. So that's what I've been doing. So that will be the inside cover. And then I'm going to put some pages in here, and then my blocks will go inside the pages. So that's my goal. So here I am. I'm going to design my April block. It's going to be just like the pin like this. And we're going to start and show you how I do that. So here we go. So we're going to start with, the blocks are 9 by 9. So I just fussy cut with a regular scissor. I didn't use a rotary cutter or anything. I cut a 9" by 9" block. So this is going to what I'm going to be sewing on top of. Now, this month in March, I learned how to do a I think it's called a fly loop flower. So here is my fly loop flower, and I made it already, and I want to include it on this block. So it's going to go somewhere. I don't know where, but it's already completed, and I want to include it in my book. So that's going to go on the page here. Now, while I was searching for April things to put on here, I wanted to put a bunny. So on Pinterest, I made a folder, and I found a whole bunch of stuff that I want to include. So I found this, and I thought this was really cool idea to put like flowers around the bottom and then put bunny ears. So it is kind of big, and it has little eggs on it. I may put this on here somehow and cut it out in, I think it might fit like on the side here. Let's see, I might fit it like that on the corner. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on the corner here. And then I found these. I have a big one, and I have this one. I don't know if I'm going to put the bunny, because I already had the bunny here, but I want this egg. And I think the big egg is going to be too big. Well, the big egg might fit in this spot here. So, yeah, so that's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to get some fabrics and come back and see what will fit. I think I might like the big egg, because that will be the stitch lines. That will be really cool on the side here. So anyway, I'll be back and I'll share how I'm going to do that. Okay, this is my scrap bin. I've been throwing all the stuff that you cut off, the fabric. I've been throwing it in this bin to use. It's really garbage, but I really want to use some of this stuff within my block. So like I found some really good like big pieces and this and big, there's lots of stuff that I could use in here. So yeah, don't throw out your garbage, because you can use it in your block. So this is what I thought to do. I'm going to use this big piece of green type thing that I'm using in my bunny quilt right now, and this was an extra scrap. So I'm going to stick this on the bottom of the page, and I wanted to do it kind of like this as the background. So this is going to be the bottom. I'm going to work on top of this, and I couldn't find flowers that were this small. I mean, I could cut it out from here, but I didn't have that in my fabric. So I decided that I was going to use butterflies. So I have this fabric, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut these out and stick them in a cluster going across the bottom. I think that's what I'm going to do here. Now, as far as the egg goes, I do have the egg here, and the egg fits in this spot right here on the bottom. I am going to take this muslin that I had in my stash. I'm going to use a friction marker, and I'm going to trace it on here, and then I'm going to cut it out and stick it on the page, and then it will give me the design line to stitch on. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back. Okay, so I did this with the friction pen, so when you heat it up, it erases. And I'm going to put it over here, but I noticed that need a backing. So I went to the scraps and I pulled out this piece of scrap. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to cut that part off. And then in my scraps, I've been putting my mistakes into this bin here. So this week I made this and I made it upside down, or the triangles were not correct in my quilting. So this is a great thing to reuse your mistakes. So I think I'm going to put it like this, and it fits perfectly there. Yes, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put the egg on top of here, and that, I think that works, and that fills up the spot. It covers up my batting. So that's that area. I did cut out my little butterflies. They're going to go layered over here like the picture, and I'm going to overlap them, and this is what I got so far. So I think that looks good so far. Now I have a lot of stuff that these are mistakes. So I stuck them in the bin, but it's perfect to sew on top of, because you can't really tell it's a mistake, but it was a mistake in my quilting. And it has a bunny on it, so I'm going to reuse it somewhere. So like that. Pin that down. This is another one that I did wrong size, so that could go there. And you just layer your different things down. Here's another mistake, and it has the colors in it, and I did the timing. I think this may go here. Yeah, so you just play around with your scraps. These are just big pieces of scraps that I found. And you just layer it down. Now I want to make the bunny ears, but I need to make the background first. So I'm going to use some of this pink, I think. I have lots of pieces of pink to throw in here. Yeah, see how it's like it's building up. You just take a piece of scrap and you just build up the blank spots. So I have a batting here, you see that. Let's look. Oh, I have bees. I don't know if the bees will fit there. Yeah, kind of fits. So you're just covering up the batting. You just use whatever you have, and I'm going to cut this off. So this is all my garbage scraps and my mistakes. So see how it's like using up your stuff? Yeah. I think I'm going to do, I have another piece of this. This will be great on the edge, I think. Now, since I'm using a lot of pieces of loose pieces, it's going to be a lot of pinning, just to let you know to start off with, because you're going to pin everything down. I need to get the bunny ears on here now. I think the background looks pretty good. I covered everything up. Now, what happens in here, you could see a little bit of the batting, and what you could do there is take ribbon or another piece of fabric and cover that up. I have a blue. See, this is the end of the fabric that I cut off. Like, this would have been garbage, but you could still use it, and there's already dots in there where I could stitch X's on. So I'm going to maybe stick that there to cover up that little gap. And it's looking out really good. So that's how you cover it up. You make your block, and then you just take this every once in a while and stitch on top of it. You don't have to do it all at once. I don't want to cover up my flower here. I think I'm going to move this higher, because this is already stitched. This is going to go on top because this is done. I did this just as practice. And I just did it on a little piece of thing, but I wanted to incorporate in my April block because it's already completed. So that's what you can do. You can do it, you can make it little tiny things and then add it to as you do it, or you can do it like this as I'm doing it now and add as you go. I'm going to make the bunny ears now. All right, so all this extra that's sticking out, I don't know if you can see it in the camera. See how this is sticking out? You would just cut that off and throw it back in your your scrap box. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try to do the bunny ears and see if that will work on here. Or so I'll be back. Okay, so this is very dark. I'm using dark fabric and I couldn't see through the fabric to trace it. So I'm just going to cut this out and then use it as a template to trace over the fabric. So here's one ear, and then I'm going to cut out the other ear. And I just got this on Pinterest. I just searched for a bunny applique and just printed out what I liked, and I made it big to use as a template. So here is my second ear, and now I'm going to take the fabric that I was going to use. This is the fabric I think I'm going to do the bunny ear in, and then I'm going to do like a light pink for the center of the ear. So I'm going to take this and trace it on the back of it with my friction pen. I have a Friction Colors erasable pen. It's by Pilot, and it's used for quilting, and when you iron on it, it erases. So I'm going to trace that now and cut it out. Okay, so on the wrong side of the fabric, see, that's the wrong side, I'm going to trace the bunny ear onto here with that pen, and not very easily. All right, so that's the first ear. So now I have a template, and then I'm going to do the second ear with the same fabric. This is going to be the outside of the ear, and then I'm going to cut out the center part and trace on a lighter pink. I have to find a pink fabric. Okay, so that is going to be my bunny ears. I'm going to cut that out now. Okay, I have the bunny ears cut out. It actually does it reverse, so I'm going to reverse the ears because I traced it backwards. I don't know. Anyway, so I am going to do the inside. I'm going to cut this out to make a pattern. I know you could use a light box. I don't feel like bringing my light box down because it's a pain in the neck to get it out. So I'm just going to trace this, cut this out. All right, so now I have two templates to use. And what I'm going to use is, I'm going to use this fabric which has words on it. And make sure that I have the words correctly because I've been sewing upside down, and that's where a lot of my mistakes are. So the words on here say love, do more, laugh, love more, impossible, bounty, happy, life, beautiful, do more of just different words. So anyway, I'm going to use this for the inside of the bunny ear. So I'm going to do it that way, and I'm going to trace this. Oh crap, did I not make it big enough? Anyway, I'm going to do it that way and just, where's my pen? All right, so I got one. It's going to be tucked in anyway, so I'm just going to cut that out. Okay, so that's that one. And then this is going to be the other ear. And just cut this. Trace that around and then just cut that out. So now I have 2 pieces. I'm going to cut it out now. And don't worry about the lines because it erases when you heat it. So this one goes on here like that, and this one goes on the other ear. Now you can use freezer paper or whatever they use. I just find this, you don't really need the freezer paper. Just find it easy to do this. Okay, so now I have the words. I'm gonna put that on there. Now you will pin this down once you have it all set. And I'm going to bring it to the block. Let's move this up a little. All right, so you can see it. All right, so I have these 2 and I'm going to position it underneath, like sticking out of the flat butterflies. I'm going to move the butterflies over. This is going to go on top. This is going on top. Now once you have everything positioned, you can go along and pin everything down. So there are my bunny ears. And I just got, I'm going to move this down. That the center, that down, and yeah, so once you get everything down, you pin it down. Just regular pins. I use these pins that I use in quilting. You're just going to pin everything down, and all this excess that's hanging off, you will cut it off. So yeah, I'm not going to have you sit here while I'm pinning everything down. I will do one, and then I will come back and have show you what it looks like when I'm finished. So you just put a regular pin and you just do it all around your quilt, your block. You have to, all these little butterflies need to be pinned separately, and once you stitch them you could remove the pins. So yeah, so I'll be back once it's all pinned. Okay, so we're all pinned down. Since I used a lot of pieces, I have a lot of pins on here. I'm going to cut off the sides. So that's what I'm going to do now. See how this here is coming off the side. So I just take a regular scissor and I'm just going to cut it off and throw it back into my bin that I could reuse for another time. Okay, and I have this over here. It's going to go that way. Okay. Could trim this as well. That's garbage. It's really too small to use. Okay, so that's what you have. The block is ready to sew. Now I noticed that I have some gaps. So what you can do with these little gaps, see how this is open? That's where you come and you use your ribbon, but I'm not going to include it now, but just to show you, I have a pink bin full of ribbon, rickrack ribbon, and I have a green one. So I am going to add some, like I'll just show you for an example. I don't know if I'm going to use this, but while I'm sewing, you can come to your bin and look, you could put that on top and sew that on. I have this lacy thing, and you just fill it in, or like this dot one, and you just sew this on, you couch it on, or you can sew in here and make an X or something. I don't know what I'm going to actually do. This is like the last step. I usually sew everything down and then I add my ribbon later. I like that. That's cool. And then you would just cut this off and then you sew this on. I like that design. So let's see what it looks like with some green. I have some green. Like, you could use all your scraps. I like these type of ribbons that are, I don't know if I like the mint green, but that's what you do. You just use whatever you have and grab stuff out of your bins and stuff. I use this one a lot. This one's cool because you can actually stitch. See how there's an X? And you just cover up the stitch in pink. And that works out really nice. I might use that. And then I have that other one going across. See how nice? It adds something to it. I like that idea. Anyway, thank you for watching. I just wanted to show you how I design and get ready for the month. And in the next, at the end of the month, I will show you how it's completed. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.